Hello, everybody. Looks like we've got quite a few people joining the room today. Already seeing a bunch of those who are saying, can we hear anything? So I do want to make sure before we get started that you can hear me now. If you want to just type there into the chat that you can hear me, we'll go ahead and get started here in just a second. All right, let's... Hello, everybody. I'm wanting to make sure that everybody can hear me. All right, great. There we go. There's the chats. There it comes in. Maybe there's a little delay there. So, hey, great to see all of you here today. This is an incredible sort of time for all of us. End of year coming, got Giving Tuesday. Everyone's falls are so busy. So, first off, thank you for taking the time to join me today and talk about Giving Tuesday. As I put this webinar together a few weeks ago, what I was sure of was that there was a large demand, right? So in talking with nonprofit professionals and leaders, executive directors, fundraising managers, there was definitely a sort of a knowledge gap for so many of you. Giving Tuesday is still relatively new. It's about 8 years old. And so what I recognized was this, a real knowledge gap. In how to successfully execute a Giving Tuesday campaign. And so what I wanted to do was put all information together to have with all you today, because I've been doing this kind of for a long time, and I'm actually starting to see that people cannot hear me. Let's see. The mic is not muted. Is there anyone out there that's hearing anything I'm saying right now? So some of you can hear, some cannot. Let's see. I don't think there's anything on my end that can help that. So I'll tell you what, if you cannot hear me, I wish I could see your screen, but I can't. So it looks like more people can hear me than they can't. So we're just going to go ahead and get through this. You power through this. Hopefully you can find something on your end that'll help you hear me. But yeah, thank you for everyone who's chiming in saying that you can hear me. So anyway, a little bit about me before we get into things. So my name is Dan Mastin, and I run a small agency, and we're focused on helping nonprofits raise more money online through nonprofit web design and fundraising strategy. When I started my agency, that came after about 10 years at a company called Blackbaud. They're a nonprofit software provider, consulting, fundraising, strategy, those kinds of things. And I worked there for about 10 years and got to work with some of the great large national nonprofits. But one of the things that, as I left Blackbaud, one of the things I really wanted to do is I wanted to focus on nonprofits of all sizes, right? I wanted to bring that knowledge and experience to any nonprofit anywhere. And so I spend large parts of my days meeting with and speaking to nonprofit leaders from all sizes. I've made it my mission to learn everything I can from them. And really, the more I learn directly from you, the more problems that I can help you solve. And that really is the goal. So, and that's what brings us here today, right? So I recognize that there was a grave gap in the Giving Tuesday resources that dove deep into the planning and the executing of a successful Giving Tuesday. And so I wanted to put all these things together and provide them in a way that anyone can adopt, no matter who you are, how big your organization is, what size team you have. I want you to be able to take this actionable information and use it. So let's go to the next slide. So what we're going to be covering today. So we're going to be covering Giving Tuesday start to finish, right? So we're going to start off by doing a level set. I want to make sure that everyone understands where Giving Tuesday came from, what it's been growing into, and where it's expected to go, just to make sure everyone is sort of up to speed on the history of Giving Tuesday. Then I think it's important that we talk a little bit about some things outside the Giving Tuesday nuts and bolts, right? So we're going to talk about the action plan and all the what to do, how to do, when to do it. But I want to make sure that there's a number of things other organizations have proved successful over the last 8 years. And I'm going to share some of those ideas with you as well, just to give you a little bit of extra information and insight into what's working out there. And then by the time we'll get to the end, we're going to be wrapping up. And I'm going to cover how to bring the ideas outside of the actual nuts and bolts, the really how-tos of Giving Tuesday. And I'm going to bring that together at the end to ensure that you understand how to bring it all together and maximize it through your online fundraising pieces, right? Okay. So Giving Tuesday was actually created 8 years ago. There were two organizations that got together. And what they wanted to do, they wanted to come up with a day that was set aside for celebrating the generosity of giving. That happened right here in the United States. And what really happened was quickly, it started taking off from there. What happened to be this small effort in 2012, it quickly grew. And last year, so 8 years in, last year, $400 million was raised on Giving Tuesday, and that was across 60 countries. So think about that growth rate. Now, impressive, and it's only going to keep growing, but one thing jumped out at me, the one number that jumped out at me was the 50% participation, right? So everyone now has heard of Giving Tuesday. It's obviously taking hold, and many nonprofits are starting to jump on. This year, I can't imagine how many more nonprofits will do it for the first time. But you're starting at 50%. That means there are so many nonprofits who will be doing it for the first time, and we all know, right? Without the available time and the resources, when you dive into an effort for the first time, there's going to be so many of you that are you're just going to have to you're going to be figuring it out. And yeah, 400 million, yeah, not 400,000, $400 million. Let me make sure I got that number right. I forgot to add a few zeros, 3 zeros I should have added on that. But yeah, so 50% of organizations are still not taking part. As those organizations, and some of you are probably on that list, as you really jump into the Giving Tuesday pool here this year, these are the kinds of things that I think you're going to find important to know. These are the kinds of things that organizations have not known up to this point. And this is going to help you hopefully get out of the block so much faster and really make the most of it. So when it comes to Giving Tuesday, where does it start? Where do you start in your thinking? Well, like I say, with anything that's worth doing, it starts with a goal, right? Failing to set that goal is kind of a rudderless ship, so to speak, right? So with that goal, you're going to be able to get your supporters, all of your stakeholders involved. You're going to get them to rally around this cause, this goal, and what this goal is going to achieve within your cause. Now, some other things about a goal is what I think is really important to consider is that when you have a fundraising goal and your stakeholders understand the goal, you guys are all clear on what this goal is and how you're going to get there. What that does is it really increases the buy-in across the board, right? Your board of directors, you're going to get far more buy-in. One of the things I like to imagine, and I've had this conversation with nonprofits before, is when engaging with the board of directors, when engaging with them on different campaigns, there's a huge difference in going to them and saying, hey, we're going to take part in Giving Tuesday. And the response is something along the lines of, great, let me know how it goes. As opposed to, hey, we're going to take advantage, we're going to get involved, we're going to do Giving Tuesday right this year. Our goal is to raise X amount of money, and that money is going to fund said cause. That response immediately becomes, how can I help? And that's really the point, giving everyone something tangible they can see and rally around, and that all begins with a goal. And next to that goal, you can't help but have, or at least you should definitely have something the money is going to fund. We all talk about impact. How do we show impact to our donors? How do we show the difference that their money is making? Well, Giving Tuesday campaign is a perfect way to do that because you can set that goal, and every point along the way as you promote it leading up to Giving Tuesday, as we're going to talk about, and you're actually doing it the day of Giving Tuesday, you're able to show them what this money is going to do, how this money is going to improve their community, how it's going to help you in your mission and the mission that they support. So speaking of goals, here's what I want to do. I want to stop for just a second before we get into the actual plan. So I want to ask a question. I've got a poll I'm going to launch here. And what this poll is if let me go ahead and start polling. So what this question is about, it's about your fundraising goals. So if you had to say a number right now that you think is reasonable for your organization to raise this Giving Tuesday, go ahead and select that option there in the poll. And there's a reason I'm asking this. This is anonymous. Nothing going to be holding against you if your goal is not as big as you think it should be. So go ahead and answer that question. We're going to see how the numbers come in, and then I'll give you an idea of what I hope to do with this information throughout the presentation today. All right, here they come. By far leading the way, you can see the $10,000 to $20,000. Give that just another minute to come in. So as we go through this webinar today, what I want you to do is, so we're going to be talking about everything from pre-planning to the day of to post wrap up and review, all of those things. And what I want you to be able to do is I want you to think about your goal as we go through this, right? Think about the number you just thought of, and think about as you learn, as you hear things, and these things are going to probably generate ideas of your own. Put that in relation to the goal that you just thought of as you answer that question. Because when we get to the end, what I want to be able to do is to be able to look back and you see already how if you do some of these things, you add in some of your own ideas, you're going to be able to raise even more. And hopefully, right, you had the different dollar amounts. The hope is that by the time we get to the end of this, you're going to understand and sort of see and really be able to envision moving up to that next tier in your fundraising. That's the goal. All right, so like I said, before we get into the actual meat of the presentation, the how-tos, all of those things, what I want to do is I want to talk about how some organizations have what I call cracked the code, so to speak, on Giving Tuesday. And what it is they've had some of these ideas outside of the actual executing of a Giving Tuesday that's really boosted their fundraising. So some of these things are matching gifts. We would all love to have matching gifts everywhere, all the time, always. But matching gifts for Giving Tuesday is key, because what that is, when it comes to a 24-hour fundraising opportunity, when it comes to having a goal that you're shooting for that 24 hours, having that matching gift speaks so much to your first-time donors. If you aren't familiar with this yet, first-time donors, you're going to find more on Giving Tuesday than any other day of the year. And when you're bringing them in for the first time, especially, you want to show them that their $1 really means more than $1. And so matching gifts are huge. So whether it's a board of directors, members of your board, whether it's some of your largest donors, find someone that is willing to match up to a certain dollar amount, and really, and that'll really give you something to leverage your excitement on through your promotions and all the way up through Giving Tuesday. Another great thing for Giving Tuesday is corporate sponsorships, corporate partners. Again, when you have that very clear goal, when you have that very clear impact that you want the money to have in your community, that's something, and it's done well and promoted well, that's something companies really want to get on board with, right? They can throw their name on that, help you promote it, help you reach those goals, perhaps even match some gifts as well. So corporate sponsorships can be huge when leveraged the right way for Giving Tuesday. My favorite of this is probably giving early. And I think this is my favorite because I feel like this is a bit of a Giving Tuesday hack. And what this is think about the donors, or you identify the donors that gave last year, and you perhaps up to a certain amount, and you expect them to give again this year. And what you do is you go to them early and say, will you give early? Because what this will do is it will give you a launching pad on the day of, right? So if you get this gift early, you start Giving Tuesday the morning of, and you're already able to announce, a few $1,000s are already raised. Think about the level of excitement that's going to generate already. So what I love about that is they'll give a little early, and you can launch from that dollar amount. By 8 a.m., you're already able to say that you're a certain percentage all the way to your goal, and that's really going to ratchet up the excitement. You got to rally the troops. Really any stakeholder, especially your board, especially your staff, you're going to have them all in on this. Everyone's going to be pulling in the same direction, pulling the same amount. So what I would advise is having a couple meetings between now and Giving Tuesday. We're able to lay out your plan, lay out your campaign, get all of their buy-in, get all of them to rally around this. And at a minimum, on the day of Giving Tuesday, have your entire board and your entire staff share and retweet anything that hits the social channels. It's an echo chamber that you're wanting to create, and that is that's your immediate source that you can really have on board right out of the gates, no questions asked. You can depend on that kind of amplification of your message. A campaign landing page. Like any campaign, you can't do a whole lot without a landing page that really ties together your messaging, right? If you're promoting a certain goal and what this money is going to fund, you're going to have that messaging consistent through your online pieces, which is your landing page. And then last but not least, get creative with names. What's great about this is that what's great about Giving Tuesday is now that we're about 8 years in, donors are starting to be familiar with it. If you ask them, 9 out of 10 probably don't know when it is, but at least they've heard of Giving Tuesday. And so what I've seen some organizations do is take this familiarity and through their cause or through what their mission, what the money's going to fund for that day, what they're able to do is get creative with the campaign name. So instead of just Giving Tuesday, I've seen examples like Giving Tuesday, right? So all gifts are matched. So when you give $1, it really counts as 2. Giving Shoes Day, Giving Foods Day. So what I encourage you to do is as you sit with your team and you're really planning this out and you're laying out your goals and what you're going to achieve here, think about what it is you are doing, what the money's going for, and see if you can't get a little creative with that name. Anything you can do to increase awareness and get a little more attention for this day is going to be huge. All right, now let's get into the most important part of the session, and that is the action plan. What to do, when to do it, how to do it. That's what we're all here to learn, and that's what I'm so excited to share with you. So there's quite a bit involved in each of these 3 areas, and so I have broken them out into the sections, hopefully make them a little more digestible to really dive in and really talk, but still be able to dive in and talk details about before the day, on the day, and then after the day. One of the biggest things you can do, and this is somewhat in line with rallying the troops, but it's also special because this will be from your supporters, and that is creating a social squad from your donor base, from your base of supporters. What a social squad is this is a small group of your most avid supporters who have committed to sharing and retweeting everything you put out on the day of Giving Tuesday. So as we get into your actions throughout the day on Giving Tuesday, your social squad is really meant to expand that reach, make sure that the excitement and the urgency that you're promoting around your cause gets to more people than just your audience. So what I suggest is identifying who your largest advocates are, the most avid supporters, those who would most likely want to be part of this. And between now and around the 1st of November, send them a message. Put it all on a little email list, send them a message asking to be a part of your social squad. This will help you sort of tie the message together, let them know what you're going to be asking, and asking them on the day of, and then get them to commit. So whether it's having them just respond to your email, right, that they're definitely up for this, maybe send them to a form on your page, whatever it is that you need to do to get their name and get them locked in. And then a few weeks or a few days before Giving Tuesday, then you'll be able to reach back out to them and say, hey, member of the social squad, again, thank you so much for what you're going to be doing for us on the day of, and just sort of lay out those parameters again, right? You're going to be letting them know when you're going to be posting, make sure that they are aware and ready to share, retweet, and again, amplify that message to their audiences as well. Now, and yes, I think I saw a question there is, will this presentation be available? Yep, it will absolutely be available. So there's a lot of information on here. You'll be able to get all this in your hands. So this slide especially, there's a lot here. What this is your communication calendar between now through December 2nd, the day before Giving Tuesday. You've decided on a goal, right? You've secured your matching gifts, your corporate sponsors. You've signed up your social squad. You have all your staff, your board on board. They're ready to go, ready to rally around you for this day. This is then the calendar that you use for your email list. So let's talk about this. Let's just talk about each of these. So the teaser, Wednesday, November 6th, so roughly a month before Giving Tuesday. The teaser is just really short and sweet. It goes out to your entire email list. We don't want to leave anyone out on these messages, so send it to your entire list. And this is just to say, Giving Tuesday's coming. This year it's on December 3rd. Save the date, mark it on your calendar, however you want to put that. But this is just a heads up. You're not sharing any sort of giving form. You're not announcing any information about your campaign. It's simply saying Giving Tuesdays on the way. Now, the Monday, November 18th, as well as the social post on Wednesday, the 20th. Now, this is when you announce your campaign. This is the first time you're getting out into the world what it is your organization is aiming for on Giving Tuesday. This is how much money we want to raise. This is what we want to raise the money for, and be on board with us. Come help us, come support the day. It's 24 hours. You really just start to, you slowly start to amp up that excitement and amp up that urgency that you'll really be pushing come Giving Tuesday. Then 1 week before, so that Monday and Tuesday the week before, the 25th and the 26th, there's just a reminder that says Giving Tuesday is 1 week away, folks. The buildup is here. You remind them of your fundraising goal. You remind them of why you're doing it, so what the money is going to go to. But this is also a great time to announce those other benefits, those other things that are going to make Giving Tuesday special, like your matching gifts, like any of the sponsors that have come on board. Make sure this is the email that all of that information goes to. So they already know Giving Tuesday is coming. They already know what the campaign is about. And now we want to show them the extra work you're putting into to make sure their dollars go further. And then last but not least, in the pre-planning phase, we've got the day before Giving Tuesday. So it's one day. Giving Tuesday is tomorrow. And this is when the urgency is on full blast. Monday's the email, Tuesday's, reminding everyone that it is only 24-hour effort, right? So that's about the urgency. Starting tomorrow, we have 24 hours to raise this amount of money. When we raise this amount of money, that means that this many people get helped. This mission is accomplished. This is what is provided for our community. And we only have 24 hours. It's really reminding them that this is a one-day thing and we absolutely need your help. You're going to remind everyone that when they give, or at least ask them that when they give, to please post to social media. One of the greatest things that we see organizations do is have supporters who understand that when they make that gift to go make that post to social media, to show their friends, show their family, show their audiences what they've done to help this cause and how they can then get involved. You can put that email. It'll also be in some of the day of emails, those kind of things. But the day of, the day before, say it's coming, it's tomorrow. We need you on board. We appreciate your help. And when you do help, make sure you share it with everybody. All right. So you've gone through the pre-planning. You've gotten all your partners. You've got your staff rallied and ready to go. You've got your supporters waking up from, aware that today is Giving Tuesday and they're ready to get involved. So here we are. It's the day of. So that morning, and this might be one of the biggest struggles I see nonprofits have, but it goes back to having that board of directors who are all in, who are fully committed to this Giving Tuesday campaign. One of the most valuable things you can do is have your president, CEO, make a Facebook Live video the morning of Giving Tuesday. They get to announce like everything else, how much money they're raising, what this is going to. And it's just such a powerful message, being that it's video, being that it's the people who are on point driving this mission. It would be really, really huge to get one or all of your board members to do that. If they're not able to do that, executive directors, other leaders in the community, Facebook Live is going to be huge this year. It's becoming such a thing for just posting in general. But the point is it's video, and it's going to be live video. It's going to be showing up in everyone's notifications when that live video is being recorded. So it's Facebook Live would be huge if you can get your board, anyone to be posting on the morning of. But aside from that, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be getting the communications out. So up to this point, you've told everyone it's coming, but now it's time to get the email out that says, now's the day. Here we are. We're inside of that 24-hour period. We're ready for your help. We love your help. We appreciate your help. And here's the giving page link. So up till now, you haven't even given them a donation form link. You want to make sure that that link is in this email. You want to remind them that when they do give, please go post to social media. And then also, this is a great way to just say, hey, throughout the day, we're going to be posting updates and our progress towards our goals. We would love it if you could also post. So you're going to have your social squad, right? But go ahead and remind them the day of. Make a gift, post to social media, and if you see anything from us, please, please, please post to your audiences as well. So you've gotten through the morning up to midday. By now, you should really start seeing how your goal is tangible. So now's the time to send out that update. You're still going to have some people who who plan to give but haven't given yet. So you want to make sure they're reminded. But overall, you want to really just, again, ratchet that excitement and that urgency up by showing here's how far we are towards our goal, but here's how far we have to go. And this is why we need your help. Throw in there again the reminders to share and post. If you give, share and post anything that we're putting out today. But again, this is just that update through the middle of the day says, hey, great, thank you so much. But we still have a long way to go. And just to make sure people stay aware throughout the day. And then at the end of the day, this is when you get to share your success, right? So the end of the day is here. By now, we hope that the fundraising goals are reached. And this is when you just say thank you to everybody. And you let them know what an amazing day it has been, how much action and activity there was around your nonprofit and your mission, your goal, the impact that people want it to have. This is your chance to tell them that it's been a haul, but we thank you so much for everything you've done. And this is what it's going towards. This is who's helped. This is what has helped from everyone's work today. One of the things that you also want to, I kind of left this out in some of the other things. So throughout the day, it's also about making sure that your the board, the staff, the board, again, that any chance that they have to share, retweet everything throughout the day. This isn't in here to remind your staff throughout the day, but definitely make sure that that's happening, right? So as you get into the Workday Giving Tuesday, gifts are going to be pouring in, right? We hope everyone's going to be busy getting things, answering questions, processing stuff, moving stuff administratively. It's a busy day. Just make sure you keep everyone grounded, that this is an effort that takes everything that we've put into it and everything that we've planned. So just make sure you sort of keep your eye on the ball for what those plans throughout the day is, right? It's really easy to get to midday, or it'd be 2:00 in the afternoon, and you haven't sent out that midday post yet. It might be 3:00 in the afternoon, and the three people that you have working in your office haven't had a chance to go repost and share some of the information that you've been put out. So as we talk about that day of, just remember, you're going to be so busy, you're going to be preoccupied. My advice would be to have this on a whiteboard in the office and have it in big, bold, clear letters, just the reminders for everyone in the office, the things that you're going to need from them throughout the day, just to make sure you keep your eye on that ball and eye on all the efforts that it really does take to get there. So you've gotten through Giving Tuesday. We would say Wednesday is a day of rest, but we all know that's not true in the nonprofit world, even though you really, really, really need it by this point. But the next communication about Giving Tuesday doesn't come out until Thursday. So on Thursday, it's sort of expanding on what you sent out at the end of Giving Tuesday, that sharing success. But Thursday is more about thanking the donors specifically, just really calling out what it means to you to have them as donors, what it means to you to have their support, anything that they've really done for you. I know segmenting your list can be really, really painful. But if there's any way you can segment your first-time donors out, that is going to be huge. Because come Monday, what you really want to do, again, because you're going to gain more first-time donors on Giving Tuesday than you're going to gain on any other day of the year. And what you do with those donors, how you onboard them, how you welcome them into your organization really does set up how they're going to engage with you from here on out, right? So what I recommend, and it's kind of outside this Giving Tuesday thing, but I couldn't help but throw this in there, because a welcome series for your first time donors, because you should have so many at this point, will be great. Will be a great way to kick off that onboarding. When I say onboarding, you want to onboarding your supporters means you want to learn how they want to be engaged just as much as they want to learn how they can be involved in different areas, right? They may have just given $10, but let's say they could be a $10 recurring gift giver. Let's say they gave $10, but they would love to get it involved in volunteering in some way. This welcome series shows them how else they can be involved in the organization, and it allows you to understand them as a supporter and how they want to engage with you, how they want to be engaged. The welcome series is huge. And then, of course, end of your kickoff, quickly, you just turn the tables, and you're looking at end of your giving. December 9th then launches that end of your giving campaign. Let's talk a little bit about the campaign landing page. So I mentioned it earlier in the presentation, but what I really wanted to dive into are some of the reasons in which the campaign landing page can really, really make or break so much on Giving Tuesday. So we've talked about having a page that can carry your message, right? About your goal, about the impact it's going to have, who's going to be helped. But a few other things that you should really ensure your campaign landing page has. One is simple design. So your main website, so many of you, you've got so much going on. You have so many programs and so many ways in which people can get involved with you, so many things that you're doing as an organization, and your website reflects that, right? There's a lot and a ton of information on so many websites, and that's perfectly understandable. For your campaign page, cut the noise. Keep it as simple as possible. Make sure that nothing is linked to from this campaign page. Nothing is on this campaign page that does not help you reach your goal. So make sure all of that is removed. You need to make sure that it's optimized for mobile. If you think about, again, how you're going to be communicating with your audience through Giving Tuesday, it's through email and it's through social posts. The majority of people who read their email and they're reading the social post, they're on their mobile device. So when they click that link, they're going to be coming to you on a mobile device. And when I say optimized for mobile, it's not just, hey, it renders. Think about this. One of the my favorite questions to ask nonprofits is, how many clicks does it take to submit your donation form? I usually get the deer in the headlights look because no one really knows the answer to that question. But if you don't know the answer to the question, I urge you to go find out. And the reason for that is the stats show this, the data shows this. Every click on a donation form is another opportunity for you to lose that donor. And so something like Giving Tuesday, where it is very specific, it's a single amount of money that you're trying to get. It's for a single cause that this money is going to fund. It's really just this, the campaigns being such, boiled down into a nutshell, that's really what your donation form should be as well. So try to remove options from the donation form that aren't absolutely imperative. And again, make sure that it is optimized for mobile. You want to make sure your campaign page demonstrates your impact, right? So what the fundraising goal is, what the money is going to go to. Video is by far the most powerful and impactful piece of content that you can have on a campaign giving page. If you don't have access to that kind of technology, if you're not able to create video for your website, at least use very compelling and engaging photography. So the images that you use, and I put a few examples here, the imagery should help tell the story. They really should tie into what the campaign is all about and really help the story for what you're wanting to achieve. And obviously, as you go through this, and you're promoting Giving Tuesday to audience at all points, make sure you promote the Giving Tuesday campaign page. You want to make sure that you do not have a live donation form on this yet, but make sure that you're promoting your campaign page through social media all the way through the plan that we talked about. Now, one of the things that I see so much of, and it makes it really, really, really hard for so many nonprofits to, that I've worked with to get, all in on a Giving Tuesday, it just comes down to that lack of time, that lack of resources, that lack of expertise when it comes to generating all the necessary assets for a campaign like this, right? So we're talking email headers, all the email content, all the emails we talked about, all the social media posts and the images, the types and quality of images you'd really like to have in those things. Those are usually the things that a lot of the nonprofits I work with struggle to create and provide, right? You don't have time for that. So in order for you guys and anyone like that to take advantage of everything we talked about, there is a package that we provide that has those email headers. It has the social post images. It's all custom and tied to your brand, using your logo and all those kinds of things. And the point is plug and play. We want to make sure that that's not a roadblock for you. You take the assets, you plug it into the tools that you use to promote and to communicate with your audience, and you're on your way. And so through that, hopefully anyone is able to really pull off the Giving Tuesday campaign that they want to have. So I want to do some Q&A. So I did see some questions come in, looking through them here. When do you suggest asking past donors for an early Giving Tuesday gift? There really isn't. I don't believe there's really a time frame, right? So a week before or 2 weeks before. This really depends on your relationship with your donor. A lot of you have personal relationships with the largest ones, right? You can really reach out and contact them at any time. If you have those who again who gave last year, the only reason you're going to reach out to them is because you expect them to be giving again this year. So I would say that's, when that conversation comes up, if you have something that you want to say, I would steer away from sending out some sort of message saying, hey, are you going to give again? We'd love to have you give early. That's really just more of those personal networking, offline kind of conversations that you probably already have an idea of who they are, and what kind of response you'll get through going to them. So I hope that helps there. Do you suggest our campaign page be live starting November 6th? Yes, I would say, because that is the day you're going to announce the campaign. It's not going to hurt anything if it's in place before, because what it is, you see this all the time, right? You see soft launches, soft openings, those kinds of things. It really doesn't matter when the restaurant appears. They might be in business 8 weeks before they have their grand launch party. But what that launch party is supposed to be, it's supposed to get everyone who hasn't driven by and seen this amazing place being built, is to get their attention and get them to come in. So I would have it live no later than November 6th, obviously. It's because you're going to announce your campaign that day. But don't wait. If the question is about waiting till November 6th, there's no reason waiting. You're just not really going to promote it until then. How can we differentiate ourselves from the noise of every nonprofit begging for money simultaneously? That is a great question. And some of the things that, the concept that comes to mind when I think about that is, what you really want to be is you want to be that pink starburst in that bowl of yellow starburst, right? If you were to reach your hand into that bowl of starburst, you're going to people grab the pink one. And the question is, why is that? And there is no grand answer for that. What I think you can do organizationally is get your team together and really brainstorm about what makes you special. If you don't have a large team to rely on, get your volunteers together. There's a reason your supporters support you and not someone else. And if you haven't quite been able to gain that information from them yet, they're going to want to give it to you. So please take advantage of that, right? They won't mind you starting that conversation to help you understand how to find more people like them who are interested in your cause and the reason they're interested. So I hope that helps. What are the cons of putting a donation button on the website earlier than Giving Tuesday? So the point about Giving Tuesday is that it's all about urgency. It's about how much money you raise on that given day, right? So again, no one's going to come arrest you for raising money for Giving Tuesday outside of Giving Tuesday. But that all leads into that urgency, right? There's this campaign page and it's saying, get up, get ready, we're rearing to go for that day. And then boom, now they have a way to get involved and to give on that day. So I would say the con, if there's a con there, it would be that you start talking about Giving Tuesday today and you start sharing links to your campaign page and they see a donation form that's right there. What is it? What does that mean to them when it comes to everything you're promoting as far as this 24-hour period to raise as much money as you possibly can? Okay. Well, that was most of the questions. I got so many questions in there, but I think we're about running low on time now. But again, I just want to thank everybody for the time today. I want to thank you for letting me offer what insight and advice that I have. My advice is free. That's what I love to say. And so I kind of mentioned this at the beginning, but I spend so much of my time meeting with and speaking with those who work in the nonprofit world, because that's where I learn most things. I learn what works for some, and I love to share that with others. And as long as I can help everyone make more impact, create a bigger difference in their communities, then that's what gives me fulfillment. So reach out at any time. You see my email address there. Even if it's just to get my honest take on something you have going on in the fundraising world. I'm happy to lend that advice. I'm happy to share some whatever input I can provide. And so I hope to hear from you and hope to talk to some of you again soon. So that's a wrap for today. Have a great rest of your day, and hopefully we'll talk again. Bye-bye.